So good morning, good afternoon once again. My name is Elena Mikhailova. I'm an advisor for Belarus, Education USA advisor. And today we're having a discussion on a very, very interesting topic about opportunities you can get through studying in community colleges and using twice an OPT option. Our panelists will cover this in details during the next 30 minutes. And I hope you will learn a lot about the benefits that you can get from this opportunity. I would like to ask our panelists to introduce themselves. So if you can say your name, your college, and a couple of words about you. Carol, if you would like
to. Yes, great, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm very, very happy to be here. My name is Carol Myint, and I am the International Student Advisor at St. Paul College. St. Paul College is a public community college located in the city of St. Paul in the state of Minnesota. I have been working with international students for more than 20 years, and I love working with international students.
I guess it's my turn. Good morning, everyone, or maybe good afternoon or good evening. I do your local time. My name is Lara Zhang. I'm from Riverside City College. If you're not familiar with Riverside City, you might know Los Angeles, you might know San Diego. So we're about 1 hour away from each city. So we're kind of right in the middle. Riverside City College is also a 2-year public institution. And we're located in California. If you hear Los Angeles, you're thinking California. We have about over 30,000 students total. And now currently we have over 200 international students from 40 different countries. Most of our students come here for transfer to state universities, but a lot of them also get associate degrees and get OPTs, and we're going to discuss that today. If any questions, welcome to contact me.
And Jason?
Hi, my name is Jason Harris. I'm with Central Wyoming College in about the middle of the country. Central Wyoming College is a public 2-year college, but recently we also added bachelor's degrees. And I'm the current International Student Advisor in PDSO for CWC. So.
Thank you. And I think we'll proceed with the presentation for the next 15 minutes, and then we'll get to your questions. So if you are asking them, keep asking them. We will get to them in the end. So we're going first with Carol.
Yep. Yeah. So I'll be giving the first 1/3 of this presentation. So I'm just going to be talking about what is optional practical training? What is OPT? So the next slide. So optional practical training is 1 year of work authorization for after you finish your associate's degree. So you do need to finish an associate's degree, any associate's degree, and you can apply for optional practical training as 1 year of off-campus work authorization. So the work that you do does need to be in your field of study, so that, for example, if you're a computer science major, you would get some kind of computer science job. If you are a business major, some kind of business job. I recently had a student graduate from culinary arts, which is being a chef, learning how to be a chef and a cook, and she got a job in a restaurant, as an example. This is U.S. government work authorization that is approved by the U.S. government. So you would apply for optional practical training in your final semester of study. So you want to apply 90 days prior to your graduation. And your International Student Services Office or the International Student Advisor will help you and walk you through the process of applying for optional practical training. There are some documents that you do need to collect, And the current government filing fee, which is a requirement by the government, is $410 to apply for optional practical training. Okay, next slide. So again, you are eligible for optional practical training after you graduate with your associate's degree, but you're also eligible for optional practical training again after your bachelor's degree. So if you transfer on to a university and you get a bachelor's degree, you can have another year of optional practical training. And if you do study your bachelor's degree in a STEM field, which means science, technology, engineering, and math, then you get an additional 2 years of what we call STEM OPT. So next slide, please. So you do get up to 4 years of work authorization with doing the associate's degree, the bachelor's degree, and if you are in a STEM field, so science, technology, engineering, and math. Even if you're not in a STEM field, you still get 2 years of off-campus work authorization or optional practical training. Again, you get it after your associate's degree and after your bachelor's degree. Okay, next slide. And I think it's passing it on to Lara.
Oh, that's fast. Hey, now we learned the basic information about OPT. Let's talk about the financial benefits. The title is half the price, twice the OPT. So I'm gonna go exactly like that. So next slide, please. Half the price. Okay, so we are talking about a tuition fee cost, community college versus university. One of the main reasons that a lot of our international students come to us is because we offer the same courses but lower tuition rate. When I say same courses is because when you transfer to a university from a community college, usually they will take a lot of courses over and they will start at junior year, which is the third year in the university. Essentially, you are paying a much lower tuition fee at a community college, then transfer all the credits to the four-year university. This is especially true for students who attend a state university, a state community college, and transfer to the state university. For example, Riverside City College is a public school in California. So we have transfer agreement with all the University of California, University State Universities, and a lot of private universities. The transfer agreement will guarantee you be able to get those courses transferred over without any complication or denial. And this is true in many states, not just California. So that's one great advantage a lot of international students taking now, because they realize they can pay much less tuition fees, but get the same education. And one thing I want to share is interesting is some of the community college instructor are also teaching in the university that nearby. So essentially you're paying a much lower tuition fee, but you're taking the same classes that university students taking, and is so much more tuition fee you are saving. The second point is you need to plan ahead to maximize the saving. The reason I'm saying this is students need to have a clear goal that what do you want to do. If you don't have it from very beginning, definitely talk with the counselor. I'm sure that all of the schools have the counselor available for students. Talk with them, plan your major and plan your transfer plan so you don't take the classes you don't need. And by the time you transfer, you take the maximum of credits you can transfer out, so you save the tuition fees. Some students will change majors for the first semester or two. That's fine, but I would not recommend it towards the last semester. That probably means you will have to take a lot of extra classes. So plan ahead So you can maximize the benefit of the financial benefit by attending community college. And scholarships available for international students. I have students come to me, may have the assumption only the big universities offer scholarship, and that's not true. International students can get a scholarship from community college as well. I see the chatting going on, and both Kara and Jason shared some information, and so does RCC. We all have all kinds of financial resources for students. We're not saying that we can cover all your tuition fees, but keep in mind, community college tuition fee is already much lower than the four-year university. So here's an example. If a university offers you $2,000 per semester, but the tuition fee is $20,000 per semester. However, there's a community college offer you $1,000 scholarship, but the tuition fee for the semester is only $4,000. Which one is better, right? So keep that in mind. And definitely ask scholarship questions. Students sometimes don't ask. The information is out there. You just have to ask to get it. And sometimes we had a student that received up to $2,000 scholarship. That's almost 50% of one semester. So there are definitely great financial resources out there for our international students. Next slide, please. The financial benefit of taking OPT. First of all, Ms. Carol already introduced it. You get to 12 months full-time working. If you get a good job offer, that's a lot of income, extra income you can get, especially with certain majors. Like our nursing major is one of our most popular major. Students earn great salary just by getting a associate degree and become a registered nurse in California. And we have students become very creative. They take more than one job because there's no description says you can only work one full-time job. You can take two part-time jobs or working two different jobs. That there's no cap for the hours. I know working more than 40 hours could be exhausting, but some students just want to take max benefit out of it. So keep that in mind. And the second is a great networking opportunity. Students are often craving for that internship connections in the professional world. This is a great chance. When you're working here, when you're doing OPT, you will meet a lot of people in the professional world, maybe even help you to get a clear goal for what you want to do in the future. And then continue education and further pursue your career. And also, this is an extra time for transfer preparation. We have students that, applied for universities while they are OPTs, and the work experience actually further enriched their resumes, give them an even better chance to get outstanding universities. The last point is, and Ms. Carol already mentioned, you can apply for OPT again when you're receiving the bachelor's degree. So that's twice the OPT. Many students don't realize you can do OPT when you attend community college. So take the best advantage of it. You can apply for OPT with certificate and associate degree. Then you can do it again with the bachelor's degree. So definitely take the maximum benefit you can with the education system. Next slide, please. I would like to share two great examples that our recent graduates, Lawrence and Louis, are our students, graduate with business management. They both participated OPT, and one of them is doing the bachelor degrees now, and the other one went back to his home country and also continued his education. Dana is from Romania, and she received a degree in registered nurse, and she worked full-time and then actually received a sponsorship to petition for green card. It's not very common, by the way. I want to clarify that. It's not very common that happens, but I want to just share the examples that what's the potential for you if you decide to go down this path. And with that, that's my last slide. Next to Jason.
Thanks, Lara. So OPT benefits, what does this mean for a student's future? Let's go to the next slide. So one of the things that you want to consider when planning OPT is you want to utilize college personnel. So what do you mean by that? You want to maximize the people that you work with at a university or college. So when I work with my professors, instructors, program advisors, I want to plan my OPT to maximize that benefit. So who do I work for? Usually professors and instructors have great recommendations, and they can also provide opportunities for jobs as well. And so they may know employers that you could work for. Success coaches, case managers, for example, I would be a success coach. And so oftentimes you're a success coach, international student advisor, also has great recommendations of who you can work with or work for. And then, of course, utilize your tutors and other staff that are at a college or university as well. So let's go to the next slide. So another thing you want to do as you're planning OPT is utilizing college services. So what I want to do as a student is I want to set myself apart from all other college students that are in that particular field. So I want to do the things on campus, utilize the services on campus that make me stand out as a student. So things like serving on student senate or taking advantage of college research opportunities. So at Central Wyoming College, for instance, we have the Embry grant, which is an unusual thing for a community college. And Embry just stands for Idea Networks for Biomedical Research Excellence. And so, for instance, we've done research on things like COVID and other breaking things like that, the Nile virus and things like that. So utilizing research opportunities like that is a great asset, and it kind of fleshes out your resume. And so, utilizing those things. Another example would be for a CWC. We also do different things like this for criminal justice as well. So we offer ride-alongs with police officers, for instance. And so with any field, if you're working with your faculty advisor or success coach, college advisor, they can help set those kinds of things up so that you can actually get some other things besides just the OPT, which will give you an advantage in getting OPT. So, and then of course, participating in college clubs, activities like that, or even college athletics. And so part of it is just building relationships, which we'll get to more in a minute here. So let's go to our next slide. So one of the things that you need to do is do your due diligence. So it's not just knowing what you have as a field of study, but what are you interested in? What do you want to do as your final occupation? So if I major in biological science, what am I going to do with a biological science degree? And so you want to do your due diligence in researching what kinds of work would flesh out that resume the best. And so dependent upon, if I want to be a medical doctor and use that for biology, or if I'm doing like chemical research, and so you want to figure out what fields or what companies that you would want to work in or work for in a particular field of study. And so you definitely want to do research. And again, this is another opportunity for you to work with your faculty advisor, your success coach, to kind of figure out what companies should I do or work for, what kind of fields should I work in. And so just to give you an example, I had a student that wanted to do chemical research. And so she did her OPT with a chemical company. And so the chemical company worked with pesticides as well as fertilizers. So she got a great deal of experience at the same time getting ready for her bachelor's degree. And then that company again hired her once she finished her bachelor's as well. So again, OPT is not just an opportunity to get a little experience, but it also gets your foot in the door, maybe, especially if you have a great experience in OPT with that company after your associates, they're maybe likely to hire you for after you've got your bachelor's or master's, depending upon, which brings me to the next subject. Well, what are the education requirements for your field? And so that varies quite a bit. And so if I'm doing something basic like welding, I might only need an associate's degree, but if I'm going to be working as a counselor, for instance, I might need a master's in psychology. And so you want to make sure you know what your education requirements are for your field. And then, of course, as your education requirements go up, like we've talked about, your OPT opportunities also rise too. So that's not necessarily a detriment. And so you can combine the activities at a school and utilizing your resources with your OPT opportunities and building your work experience and fleshing out that resume that you need to go on with after college. So let's look at our next slide. So kind of last thing I want to talk about is, where are you willing to work? And so one of the things you have to consider when doing OPT is, are you willing to relocate? Are you willing to work locally or regionally or in the same country or even at a different country, maybe not even one you're from? And so you have to consider all those opportunities. Part of it is, where do you want to go when you're finished with your education? So that might match up. So I've had students that didn't do their OPT in the United States or in the country they were from. And so part of that is knowing that balance there. And then, of course, preparing your application well in advance of deadlines. So you work with your international student advisor to prepare your application for OPT, but at the same time, you also want to build that resume out as well. So you're going to have a resume that you're using to apply for those jobs that you're doing OPT for. So you want to think about that well in advance and maybe ask your faculty or your advisors for recommendation letters or things like that. And so it's all about building relationships within the college or university as well as on the job. And so, or in your research projects, if you happen to be in a research fellowship. So just some things to think about. And I think that's all we had for everybody today. And I think at this point, we'll take questions and answers. So.
Thank you, and thank you for also answering some of the questions already in chat. So for those of you students who are asking questions, you can see some general answers in chat already, and some of them are the questions we go through Q&A. I think one of the questions, and I guess what was meant by this was, is OPT only something that is available in American colleges? And there were all sorts of general questions about what is OPT, if we can just highlight it one more time. So if I think everybody, all of our panelists, if you can highlight why, what is OPT for you, why it is such a specific feature for American colleges that international students should definitely pay attention to.
Yeah, so I guess I'll start. Maybe we'll go in the same order. Optional practical training, which is what OPT stands for, is 1 year of legal off-campus work authorization in your field of study. So you are allowed, after you graduate with the associate's degree, to get a job and to work and to earn money, earn a salary, save some money if you'd like, gain some work experience in your field. You don't have to do the work experience in the same city or town as the college that you graduated. You can move anywhere in the United States. You could move to a different city, a different state. That work authorization is for the entire country of the USA in your field of study. And why is this important for international students? Is international students want to work, they want to earn money, they want to gain experience in their field. And this is a big, big benefit as an F1 international student to attend a community college, because you do get OPT after you have finished your 2-year associate's degree.
Jason, Lara, would you like to add anything to why OPT is such a useful benefit to use by international students? Why is it something that is a feature of American colleges that you can offer?
I can't think of anything to add. We've covered it pretty well, I think, there.
I think
Okay.
so too. Yeah, it's just a lot of students didn't even realize that OPT is available for community college level. I think that's the one of the biggest mysteries. Like students like, oh, I didn't know it's available. Even our current student, the graduate said, okay, we're gonna have an OPT workshop. What is that? So I'm really glad to see this information is out there now, so they know there's a benefit to actually attend a common college too, for one more reason.
Thank you. There is one more practical question in Q&A. What about housing while OPT study? I think OPT can be called study technically. It's already some work that you're doing. So will the college provide accommodation? How, in general, how from the practical side these arrangements work for students?
Wait, I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question? Is about housing for our international
Housing while
students?
doing OPT, yes.
Oh,
Something
okay.
that college is helping with, or students, how does this work?
Okay. If you don't mind, I can share first. First of all, you'll be surprised how many students enjoy the freedom of the housing that choose by themselves. I know it sounds secure if they say, okay, we'll arrange this. But to be honest, most of our students never had problems to find housing. And most of our students will find job actually around the city, because we're already in a big city area. Los Angeles, Riverside, and San Diego, we're all in this one big area that has a lot of companies and organizations there. And the second is students sometimes continue living on their current housing that they have been living as a student if the job is close to them. And they enjoy the freedom, because if you leave, if they stay in homestay, a lot of students start doing that at the beginning. You're living with another family, and they actually will move out. Most of us will move out after 6 months, because they want to be independent as an adult. But if they need help with apartments or housing information, our office definitely provide those information to our students.
I think we can go to the next question. Maybe Jason, you can take this one. Will OPT count as work experience useful for admission to a bachelor's degree in the same major? So how does that work?
So I guess it would depend on the university, and their application requirements. I would think it would definitely have a benefit in scholarship considerations and things like that. If I have a specific department I'm applying for, because usually a lot of university scholarships are often tied to departments, so that can have a great effect on that particular area by having OPT there. So.
Okay. I saw some other interesting questions in the chat that were partially answered. So what are some of the fields that are mostly common for OPT, like for students doing OPT? Is there any statistics or any information you can share on what are some of the specialities or majors that students, when students continue doing OPT after receiving them? I hope it was clear. I got somewhere led to a different direction when asking the question. So what are some?
Yeah, maybe I can start with that. So first of all, you're eligible for OPT in any associate's degree. And so, for example, we have some more technical associate's degree, and I'll just give you some examples, like culinary arts, which is learning how to be a chef, automotive services technician, learning how to fix cars. We have what we call an HVAC associate's degree, which is heating and cooling. So if you want to learn how to fix furnaces and air conditioners, as just an example. So if you get OPT on those fields, it's like really specific, right? You're going to be a chef in a restaurant, you're going to get a job fixing cars. But if your major is computer science, computer programming, data science, cybersecurity, any of these engineering, any of these STEM type of fields, then you would get a job in some kind of computer field. but we also have business, marketing, and finance. So then, right, you might get a job in a company doing something like that. We have childhood development. And so we have students that have graduated with that and they get a job as a preschool teacher or an elementary school teacher or a teacher's assistant. So it really depends, but there's lots, you know, of opportunities to get different jobs depending on your field of study.
Mhm. Thank you. And I see a lot of questions about specific majors, about something interesting, where the colleges are located. Just to let you know, all students who are listening to this, you can still visit both Carol, all of our panelists, Carol, Lara, and Jason, at their college booths, and you can ask questions. You can also ask questions from Education USA advisors. So use this opportunity, ask your questions, and to get to know more about your educational opportunities, about OPT opportunities. I think to finish our conversation today, maybe Carol, Lara, and Jason, if you can give one final tip for students why considering OPT is definitely a benefit for them. Carol?
So OPT is a big benefit that most students take advantage of because they want to work and they want to earn money. And that's it.
Okay, great. Lara?
And the other thing I mentioned in my presentation is networking. A lot of students want the work experience, even though they don't continue education. They have this one work experience overseas when they return to their home country. It's a big, big advantage for them.
Thank you. And Jason, any final tips?
Definitely it's a benefit on your resume. And so, you know, it all depends on your field of study. So it's definitely a great way to network. And like we were talking about earlier, you know, you can do it after your associates, after your bachelor's, after your master's. So it's available at a lot of levels.
Thank you all, and have a great time at the fair.
Thank you.